So Hugo Ekitike looks set to make the move to Liverpool this summer, and while we've seen a range of strikers make the move from the Bundesliga to the Premier League, I do think the young Frenchman is an interesting transfer for Liverpool and a player who could really thrive in Arne Slot's team this season. Liverpool and just before them Newcastle clearly saw the same talent in Ekitike and why they valued him so highly, and both made offers to sign him this summer. While the young striker is undoubtedly a great goal scorer, his talents actually lie in his ability to fit into systems and to play off the players around him, and in many ways actually be a foil for other forward players. He did that at PSG, and he did it really well at Frankfurt, and of course that's what Newcastle and then Liverpool thought he could do for them as well. As we can see in this graph, which shows every striker aged 23 or younger in Europe's top 5 leagues based on their key passes per 90 minutes, which is the amount of passes or a pass that leads to a shot, and progressive carries per 90, Hugo Ekitike lines up pretty well compared to most players in these top leagues. Now, when we take a look at how many goals each striker has scored, which is denoted by the size of their circle, Ekitike's numbers aren't entirely impressive, but what really stands out here is that he's a young striker who can create chances for other strikers to score goals and run with the ball each and every match, and that's kind of what's really important about Ekitike and why Liverpool clearly wanted to sign him. Some more stats to really kind of back up what kind of player Ekitike is when we compare him to Darwin Núñez and Cody Gakpo in Liverpool's team last season. Now, this player radar might look a little confusing, but the thing that's really worth focusing in on is the expected assists, which is denoted at the top under XA. As we can see with Ekitike, which is in blue, far exceeds Gakpo in green and Núñez in orange in terms of how many expected assists he creates per game. And that's probably the key metric which has really intrigued Liverpool to sign him this summer. I think this is really important because it focuses in on Liverpool's best player, Mohamed Salah, who has always needed something of a counterweight in Liverpool's forward line to get the best out of his style of play. Obviously, the Egyptian is an exceptional player when he runs with the ball and when he runs off the ball, but he needs space and time to do that. And he can only really do that if there are other forward players in that team who can create chances, pull defenders away from their positions, and just form a really good unit alongside him. Liverpool obviously used to have that with Sadio Mane and Roberto Firmino to fantastic ability not that long ago. And laterally, we've seen Luis Diaz play that role with almost playing as a kind of false number 9 last season. In all these examples, these players are fundamentally playing off Salah's main game on the pitch rather than playing as kind of traditional strikers. So in this regard, I think this is exactly where we can see Ekitike really thrive. Yes, he can play as a number 9, which he did in the second half last season, but as we saw when he played alongside Omar Marmoush for Frankfurt in the first half of the season, he's a player that can drift around the pitch, he can pull out wide, he can drop deep, he can play as a second striker, he can play as an inside forward, you can even play him out the left wing if you really wanted to. But fundamentally, he's happy to play off a focal point, a target man, a talisman. So I think when he moves to Liverpool, he'll be more than happy to take his kind of orders from Salah, for lack of a better term, and kind of fill in the gaps around the Egyptian rather than make Arne Slot completely shuffle his tactics around to accommodate their new signing. As such, I'd be quite intrigued to see Liverpool almost go back to that former system they had with Sadio Mane and Firmino, where you would have Salah out right, Ekitike out left, and then Florian Wirtz playing through the middle as a number 10 or maybe even as a false number 9. That would allow Salah to play at his best on his right wing, but also allowed Ekitike to drift in from the left and Florian Wirtz to obviously link up with both players to tremendous effect. So Ekitike hasn't really been signed as a classic number 9. He's not this miraculous goal scorer who's going to score 50 or 60 goals a season for Liverpool. He's not Erling Haaland, he's not Kylian Mbappe. But he might be the next Sadio Mane or Roberto Firmino or someone like that who can slot into the Liverpool system and help them to continue to get the best out of Mohamed Salah. And in that regard, he might be worth every penny they spend on him this summer.